Hey, what's up, fellas? I'm Malicious Female Fan, Steve Alicious here, and I wanted to take a few moments to talk about the Apple WWDC event earlier today, the keynote, because I've seen a lot of Twitter posts. Now I'm starting to see all the YouTube videos, everyone with the titles and the thumbnails and all the rest of it. I'm returning my M1 iPad tomorrow. You're going to watch the prices of M1 iPads crash. Best Buy's going to be busy tomorrow with all the people Just going to step back. Going to take a deep breath. Inhale through your nose. Nice little exhale through your mouth. And actually think about what we're doing here. What we're talking about. Because the idea that Apple, of all people at this point, are going to be quick, speedy in rolling out new features, new apps, optimized things for M1 a month after the M1 iPad Pro was released is fanciful. It really is. And I think it just is a lack of understanding, or maybe this impatience that we all have now about how these things work. But I think it shows that Apple is completely different now. Is it frustrating when, like today, they get up there and they show these things that Android has been doing for years, and they present them as if they just cracked the technology? Yes, it is. Is it frustrating when they do things like holding back the 120 hertz refresh rate on the iPad, on the iPhone 12 Pro, knowing that that's what they're going to give you next year for a reason to upgrade? Yes, it is. But at the same time, what they lack in innovation or pushing the envelope or whatever we want to call it these days, they more than make up for in support. Buying an M1 iPad Pro is not about today. It's not about 6 months from now. It might not even be about a year from now. It's about 3 years from now, when there's specialized software that they've released that's M1 specific, that there are features or elements of it or ways that it'll run that are optimized for your M1. So all these people that are running back and understand this is part, where you're on YouTube, there's information, sure, it's part entertainment, it's part of business with these clicks. I don't want anybody sitting at home enjoying their M1 iPad Pro to watch a video and say so-and-so said that this performance is whatever and they're not coming out with the Pro apps, so I'm going to delete all my information, reset it, and send it back to Best Buy. Absolutely not. And we have a responsibility. You have to step back and understand where Apple is coming from and the consumer base that they're trying to reach. With iOS 15, in a few days and weeks, whenever the public beta comes out, I'm going to be able to install that on my iPhone 6S. And not only am I going to be able to install it, it's going to be updated. I know it's going to be secure. And for the most part, now they do take a couple features away usually when the hardware just can't support it, or it would be a complete battery drain. But for the most part, I'm going to have all the features. The experience is going to be roughly the same as a device I could buy today, an iPhone 12 Pro, and it's going to run well. This is a Galaxy S7 from, I don't know, about 8 months later. June of 2016, I believe they came out with back in the day. If I were to install the Android 12 beta on here, if such a thing for it even existed in the first place, this would catch on fire. There's a difference. But remember, at the time, we laughed at the 6S. And there was a lot of features on this S7 that were better, more advanced, more cutting edge, and all the rest of it. But 2 years later, 3 years later, this became unusable. Whereas this, you could still putt-putt along on. It's a different ecosystem that Apple has to serve. They're trying to keep us happy at the pro level, right? People watching YouTube videos, people who are into tech, who just love it. But they're also serving the portion of the community, your grandma sitting there on her cracked iPhone 7 watching Murder, She Wrote reruns, that's supported too. And the fact that you could have a similar experience to her, it may be boring, it may drive us nuts when they trickle out these features over and over again, but it's important. It has a place. It's not just Apple being Apple and they just don't want to give us stuff anymore and they're withholding on it. Everything with Apple has to make sense with 6 years worth of devices. Updates. MKBHD had the great video today explaining how everything, when an Apple feature comes out, it has to work with 20 different products ranging back however many years. That's what makes sense. Don't go, like with that S7, don't go to Apple anymore because you want the latest and greatest and you want it now. Go to Apple because you want a quality product that's going to run really well and it's going to run at that performance level for X amount of years. When this thing is busy in a landfill somewhere, you'll still be using your iPad Pro to edit photos and videos and whatnot. That's the difference. So if you're sitting at home right now with your M1 iPad Pro, maybe you're watching on it, or your iPhone 12, or your iPhone 11, or your iPhone 10s, all the way back, and you're getting enjoyment out of it, keep it. Always get the most Apple product, the newest Apple product you can afford. And don't worry about the performance jumps from year to year, or the features that maybe we didn't get. Apple products are a moving train. You're never going to get the right price of entry. You're never going to get the right feature set. You're never going to get everything when you compare it to all these other Android devices. It's just not going to happen. There's always going to be stuff that you miss because the Android devices are always going to be cutting edge and they're always going to have more. But the Apple products, when they do come out with them, they're going to be supported for 5 or 6 years. And that absolutely has value. So when you buy an Apple product, understand what you're getting. Listen, they're not flawless. I've done videos on how annoying they can be. I'm not here to shill for them. But at the same time, have an understanding of where they fit now in the world of tech. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.